Hi everyone, this is Balazs from RacingBrick and this is the LEGO Technic 42146 Liebherr LR 13000 crawler crane, a massive set that you've already seen a few times on the channel. Most people find it challenging to keep it assembled and find a place for it to be displayed, but some others have said it's too small, it's disproportionate, it should actually be much bigger. In today's video we will see how big is big enough, what it takes to build this enormous construction, and whether it's worth building at all. Let's get started. If you want to upgrade or modify a LEGO set or build something custom, Rebrickable.com is the best place to go. Rebrickable isn't only a great source of information about official LEGO sets and parts, but also, as one of its main features, it offers instructions for builds created by the fan community. If I search by set number, I can see mocks that mention the set. By the way, mock stands for my own creation, so I can also find the set itself and some related parts. However, I prefer to go the other way around, open the set, and then under the Alt Builds tab I can see first the builds that only use parts from this set, and then the partial alternate builds that require more pieces but are still based on this set. This is exactly what we were looking for in this case, as I wanted to build the SDWB configuration of the Liebherr LR 13000. These instructions can be downloaded for free and are available as a good quality PDF file. 2 sets are needed to build it according to the description, but do we really need to spend $1,400 or euros to build it? To check this out, we can use another cool feature of Rebrickable. The site can compare the inventories of the official and custom builds. I have the mock on the left, select the official set on the right and click on Compare Sets. The shorter list on the right shows the parts that are not used in the custom build, and the other longer list shows what is needed as an extra. Basically these would be used from the second set. If we scroll through the list, we see that there are no extra electronic parts included in the modification. So, based on that, I was wondering if it would be better to just buy the parts needed instead of buying a complete second set. Bricklink would be a logical choice as I buy most of my parts there, but when there are so many pieces, the parts may come from many different sellers and each of them incur their own shipping costs. Fortunately, LEGO was kind enough to provide the parts from their online Pick-a-Brick service for this build. In case you don't know it yet, Pick-a-Brick allows you to buy individual parts directly from LEGO. You can search by part number or by set number to see what pieces are available and then buy them easily. The shipping time may vary depending on where you are and where they are shipped from. There is also a service charge below a certain amount, which we would certainly exceed in this case. Unfortunately, there is no easy way to feed the parts list from Rebrickable to the Pick-a-Brick service. I had to do it manually. You can sort the parts on the interface in a number of ways, but I found it easiest to filter the parts from the set by color and then go through the two lists and add the desired quantity manually. This is what my final order looked like. It amounted to exactly 500 euros. Please note that this was a few months ago, so the actual amount may be different now and might also depend on your location and currency, but it should be something similar. I placed the order and a few weeks later my package arrived. Unfortunately, I didn't film the package itself. Here are the parts before the rebuild along with the original set. The rebuild was not documented either, as it was a rather time and space consuming procedure. The instructions assume that you have the sets unbuilt. There were some sections that could be reused. If you want to go that route, I recommend you compare the instructions first. Those were fairly easy to follow. If you manage to build the original set, you shouldn't have any problems with this one either. The only part that is not included in the set is a 40-meter long string. The longest one in the LEGO set is 6.5 meters long, which means you will definitely have to buy something off-brand. I managed to get this string online. The description was promising, but as you can see, it has a flat profile, unlike the original. It serves its purpose, but it's not perfect. So, here's the finished build, and it's just massive. I was only able to borrow another sample of the original briefly, so please excuse me for not being able to show you detailed comparison shots, but it's also a challenge because of the size of the build. It is simply huge, even without being fully extended. I think now everyone understands why LEGO didn't release a version with more lifelike proportions. The maximum height is more than 2 meters, it's about 2 meters 15 centimeters. It is difficult to measure it properly as there are no limits in the control profile, so you have to control it really carefully to find a position that is still safe. The tracks are doubled, the whole base is wider, and there are also some changes to the superstructure as you can see here. I tried to put the shots side by side for you to be able to compare them. there are many parts that have remained the same, especially in the upper section where everything is practically longer now. Due to the cable length required, the stock Control Plus profile and limits won't work, so there is a guide for a powered up profile which is pretty easy to set up. There is no calibration or limits here, so we have to be careful. I would make one small change to the profile and slow down the motor that is responsible for the rotation of the superstructure. Due to the height of the build, it has some issues with lateral stability, and the high rotation speed doesn't help with that. If you want to know the load capacity, there's not much. Let's say the empty container from the max set can be lifted safely, but that's about it. I wouldn't even try to add 1 kg of weight, because something like that can easily happen, and it's pretty scary to be honest. Don't get me wrong, this is still a very impressive build, but I wouldn't call it very practical. Now let's get back to the numbers. As I mentioned earlier, the Pick-a-Brick pack costs around 500 euros, so 180 euros less compared to a second set, at least if we go by the RRP on lego.com. However, I didn't get a bunch of other parts, the 2 hubs and the 6 motors, which would cost way more than that separately. In addition, you can buy the set even cheaper than 500 euros at the moment. This means that the Pick-a-Brick way is not the best choice in this scenario, unless you have some LEGO Insider points to use, as these can also be used to discount your Pick-a-Brick purchases. So it's really worth looking into all possible scenarios. Pick-a-Brick could also be an option in other cases, which I will look into in the future. So folks, if you want a highly impractical but very impressive display piece in your room, then I recommend you check out the link below to Rebrickable. If you want something playable, I would recommend sticking with the original, but I'm sure there are people who would go for this version. Please let me know what you think of the build, whether you prefer brickling for parts, Pick-a-Brick or buying complete sets. Let's talk about it in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe with notifications, as more exciting LEGO videos are coming soon. See you next time, bye bye.